Morning, fellow zombies. Are we alive yet? Are we awake yet? It's about a minute close before 5 o'clock in the morning, West Coast time. I'm getting my main laptop working this morning. Trying to see if it's going to work this morning. Give me a little bit of an issue. What else is new? Searching the headlines. A lot of things. One kind of baited my attention. I didn't even realize it until I pulled it up. The other independents pulled this one up, and it's going to be a doozy. I didn't see any major talking points in the corporate media. How would you like to have your religion taxed? Yeah, I'll say it again. How would you like your choice of faith taxed? For a long while, we've had the IRS trying to put a tax exemption on religious beliefs, but also religious entities out there, saying that whatever goes into the church stays in the church. But if it's part of an activity that seems to be, you're employing them other than for secular work, other than for spreading the gospel of any sort, then you're supposed to be taxed. Say, for example, you're in an institution that's not part of the religious institution, but an institution, but you declare your institution is tax exemption because of religious belief. I think it was a company called Hobby Lobby or Hobby Nobby or something like that. Made their way all the way to the Supreme Court trying to wiggle out of a tax exemption, saying that their activities is faith-based and therefore should not be taxed, but they're not a religion. Yeah, morning to you too. Morning train. I gotta get into the details of that one. Not a faith-based organization, but they claim that their faith is being taxed to death, and Hobby Lobby is not a faith-based organization. I think they were ruled that they were supposed to be taxed. But you come up to like evangelical churches or a Catholic organization, they don't get taxed because they are recognized as a secular religion. They are recognized as an organization that promotes secular, and they don't get taxed. Yeah, my computer's really having a connection fit this morning. Well, there is a case facing the Supreme Court. Uh, if you're going to be not promoting secular, but doing activities that are for the church, but they're not secular, then they say that you're going to be taxed, regardless. Supreme Court saw this one in the lower court rulings and decided, okay, this ought to be interesting, but you had to get it up there in the first place to get their attention. And there being that they are a conservative group, most of them anyway. I don't know what the hell's going on with the Chief Justice at this point, but he's got to burp his ass on this one. So, but that's what's happening. And I don't know whether or not if we're actually going to be seeing this court in the main headlines soon enough. It's bad enough they're going through ethics issues. The current administration and the current Congress, especially the Senate, are trying to pass ethical guidelines and rules and regulations for Supreme Court because, as well as being stressed through the independents, they've got this air of arrogance. They got this air of arrogance that they are the top and nothing's above them, except for the U.S. Constitution and for the laws that are passed by the Congress. But because of judicial review, some laws that come up to them are swatted away and denied. Therefore, making their own rules and regulations. Madison versus Marbury strikes again. There was supposed to be a check and balance within our three departments in the United States government. There's supposed to be a check and balance between the Supreme Court, executive branch, and the legislative. But if each of them thinking that they're high and mighty, then we got a problem with our government system, do we? Because the balances are not exactly working if they're not following it. Period. They're supposed to be counterbalancing each other just to make sure that the government system's working. No one's got the above all. Problem is, when you start getting into an authoritative regimes or anything else like that, one tries to influence the others to make sure that only one branch is the numero uno, and it's usually the executive, which makes the other systems null and void unless they are depending upon the lower caste, shall we say, to make that kind of ruling. Trying to support the executive branch to be more holier than thou. How many things have we read in the history books or even in our fictional writings about that kind of situation happening where only one is absolute? The problem is when you're looking at a pyramid and you're seeing how the structural supports are, you know, elites think that they can control all the lower supports, so keep everybody fighting so they get their rotten on top. Problem is, if there is rot on the top, everybody else wants to rot. I don't know why. Because everybody else on the pyramid is still struggling trying to get to that top. They don't get it on the pyramids. They don't get it. I'm saying I don't get it. I get it. Top dog. Kill or be killed. That's how it is. That's how it's interpreted all the time. And the authoritative always is fearful and panicking. They want to maintain their strength. They want to gather the strength as they can, either from the rumbling below their pyramid structure, or from whatever kind of support they get from the pyramid, to isolate themselves, to be the chief tyranny. But they also want their legacy. Problem is sometimes their legacy gets to bite them in the butt. Either the chosen legacy, which already has plans of delusions of grandeur, or the children, which also have plans of delusions of grandeur. Maybe it would be an isolated one in the family saying that, no, I'm not going to be part of this damn thing. Well, then you could be cast aside because we have the power. Well, the problem is you do need the support down below from the pyramid structure. Because you lose the pillars, oops, topple. I'm wondering, and I'm a little nervous about next year. I think I keep seeing the independents laughing at each other nervously and insanely. Who's going to be the more chief lunatic, either to support the pyramid or not support the pyramid? I don't know whether or not to cuss, or bless the political science um, instructor and information given about how our political system really works, because it's the scariest damn thing to get into. I thought I knew something about it as an adult, but as soon as I start studying about the structure and form of it when I was going through college, I still am. But taking those political classes, I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. Bad enough having my own life legislated to death, but also to have my own faith legislated. It's Not the freedom of having my religion being ruled over. Actions. If I'm doing an action for the church itself, let's say, is it spreading the word or is it just labor? What's happening in front of the Supreme Court is the labor portion of it. If it isn't about spreading the word, then it should be exempt. But if it isn't spreading the word and it's just manual labor for other things, shouldn't it be taxable? So the Supreme Court's going to be deciding about that one, but it still talks about our own freedom of religion and how we view ourselves and how we're viewing our own lifestyles. How do you legislate our religious beliefs? How do you legislate our morality? How do you legislate what we think is supposed to be religion and not supposed to be religion? Or what's considered secular acts, what's not considered secular acts? And are we going to be on top of a pyramid or are we not going to be top of a pyramid? And if you got a Supreme Court that's got to burr up their ass with their own agenda, well, we already got a problem then, don't we? I'm not talking revolution, no. Of thought, maybe. Of action, yeah. Ooh. I know a long time ago our shit, colonists came over, pissed off at their own country, upset that their own freedoms weren't valued, their own ideas were getting tossed around. They're asking and telling themselves, let's get the hell out of Dodge, let's go across the country and let's see what this other place is like. Not even realizing that we're invading another country and another way of life. Saying, oh, how dull, how drag. Let's do it what we can over here. Screw things up left and right for centuries after that. And then we got our country right now. All its faults, all its flaws, and everything else going on. How the hell are we supposed to be able to deal with this shit? I don't know. I wake up in the morning trying to find some kind of new stuff, and here I'm getting philosophical. I'm getting political. This is a holiday season. That's not supposed to be political. Well, we got politics all over the damn place. How do you define our holiday season? Is it taxable? Is it going through the Supreme Court to be reevaluated? Are we going to have judicial review on the damn thing? Is your views justifiable by the U.S. Constitution? Oh, I'm sorry. Is the U.S. Constitution justifiable as itself? The problem is when we actually set up the government system in the first place, or actually our founding fathers did, we're supposed to be cross-checking each other. So how do we know that the Constitution was actually the golden ticket for everybody? It isn't. Rules, regulations, ideas, ideologies. It wasn't perfect. It was an ad hoc document full of potions, lotions, and notions just to keep the country running. An amendment system just to keep it chugging a bit. Just so we actually can tell the world, yes, we have a government because we have a piece of paper with our ideas and ideologies, no matter how screwed up it is. How we view a human being in one particular form or fashion and redefining it in another form or fashion. If we have any civil rights, do we have any rights at all? And if we do have any rights, are they constitutional? Is our faith, is our trust, is our understanding about things constitutional? We look at the Constitution as a golden ticket, as a golden boy. Our, well, dare I say it, sacrificial lamb. Do we host it as a golden god? There, there's something. What's more important, our own religious viewpoints or our own secular points legislative. How do we legislate morality? Is morality taxable? It's a hell of a way to think about it waking up in the morning. No, all I saw was a YouTube article concerning about a court case getting over to Supreme Court about if there are certain actions taken that are still taxable even though they're considered under religion or under secular. Is certain actions taxable or not? Better open up some Pandora's box of other ideas floating out of my damn head on this stuff. That's scary as hell. I don't think about this stuff until I see it. Then I'm starting to understand. Then I try to pick it apart in my head. Does it make sense? Does it not make sense? What are we talking about here? Bad enough when we have companies out there trying to go through the court cases to determine if they're tax exempt or not, or if they are a religious aspect or not. And if they're not religious, then what are they? Employer. Oh yeah, we having fun yet, boys and girls? I don't know what's going on. I'm just trying to pick something apart this morning, and I'm not quite sure how to tear this nut job apart. This is a season where we're supposed to be religious, right? If we're supposed to be religious, how come one doctor in a foreign country? I'm trying to broaden my aspects on this one. How is a one particular doctor who's a head shrinker, gets it in the idea that he's got to kill people? And this is in a foreign country called Germany, not the United States of America. Gee, how many times have we gone through stuff like this, I wonder? Shootings, stabbings, car maulings. You have one guy moving into Germany, sets up shop, and for a long while he's against Islam. But he sees the secular activity happening or people celebrating in a holiday, and he decides to go on a rampage. He decides to go on a rampage. This is a different country. This is not the United States of America. This is Germany. Germany's got their own thing of doing it. But it scares me because we could repeat that damn thing over here. We could repeat it over here. Hell, we have been repeating it for decades. What am I saying? One way or another. Go into a mosque, go into a synagogue, go into a church, take out a gun. How many times have we been dealing with this for how many decades? I mean, yeah, we'll take a car if it's got mechanical problems. You still drive the damn thing because you can't afford to utilize it and drive it towards a mall area or a public gathering and then watch the car go nuts and then get charged for it because you murdered people left and right. Or you go into a rally and you start deciding, okay, let's do Grand Theft Auto. Run them over. All in the name of secular. All in the name of racial hatred. What gets to me sometimes is what I'm seeing on YouTube. Some postings are showing people's glee about hate and how we have the freedom to speak our hatred and we're entitled to it. Next thing I see, the zeros and ones are picking up on the algorithms of the hate, and they got to expand upon the damn thing. I think it's fun. Oh, let's be racial hatred. It's fun. So let's do more brainwashing for a person. Terrific. We go to a public rally and you see, hate, 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 hate. It's good to hate. It's good to hate. I'm looking at these people thinking, oh my God. Well, we got the freedom to spread hate. It's wonderful. I'm sorry. What was that? cross thing around your neck. Oh, but this is cross. This is Christ. This is love. This is hate. Uh-huh. I know Christ would forgive your asses at this point over here, since he'd be merciful. But you're not showing any mercy towards anybody. No, no, no. We gotta show our hate. We gotta show our hate. Let's take our middle digits fingers and flip everybody off. Hate, hate, hate. I think they're the walking Grinches, walking Scrooges. I'm getting sick of stuff. I'm getting. Ugh. Ugh.